you've been in Boston your whole life. Like
Mostly,
your whole,
yeah.
like,
So I was born in Chicago,
Right.
moved, you know, before I could.
yeah, but like I started out in the Boston game development
Yeah.
scene, but I moved to LA because there's just at the
Yeah.
time there were 3 companies.
It drives me nuts that Boston keeps shedding talent.
Well, now there's a lot of companies here, relatively speaking,
yes.
to when I started.
We're trying to keep them, right? I mean, we have Proletariat / Activision, Blizzard, et cetera, et cetera. We have Warner Brothers down here in Forest. We have Activision going to Rockstar, et cetera, et cetera. But we the game development industry keeps trying to yeet people out of itself. It's weird.
Because when I started, I worked at Papyrus.
Yeah.
And back then there was Papyrus.
Yep.
Psygnosis, who was a mystery to me. I didn't know
Wait, was
anybody who worked
Psygnosis
there.
in Boston?
Psygnosis was in Cambridge.
No shit.
Yeah, I don't know what they were working on, but they were in Cambridge. They had a Cambridge office.
This was 90s.
Yeah. Psygnosis, Papyrus, Impressions,
Yep.
Looking Glass,
Looking
and
Glass.
Reality Bites.
Yep.
And then briefly,
And
I went to see some weird students from Brown University in Rhode Island who were working on an MMO that seemed pretty cool. The company's called Second Nature, which I think became Turbine, right? Really? That was not Boston, it was adjacent.
Yeah.
And I remember going in there and being like, huh,
Yeah.
interesting. It was like
Interesting.
1996, something like that.
it's been a spell.
Yeah, but now, I mean, it seems like now there's a lot more going on here. You have had a game development career in Boston.
We have a great community. We have Boston Game Dev Week preceding PAX each year. Well, I say each year. It started this year and it's going on. But I mean, long-time game studios like Fire Hose, Aton, if you know him, Aton Gleiner, good friend of mine, good guy. They had to go out of business this year.
Oh, really?
Because they just the publishing landscape is insane, right? I mean, it's like nobody's funding anything.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think there's a lot of weird stuff monetization-wise going on in games. Like, I feel like, I don't know how to, I haven't formulated this theory yet, but it's like they're almost turning game development into being an influencer. No, I still have the seltzer over there. But they're almost like, if you look at, like, for instance, Horizon Worlds, they have this creator fund where they give you money like they would give a YouTuber for getting getting views. And it's almost like there's a new business model emerging where you develop games for engagement and get paid on engagement instead of users paying you for stuff.
It's a weird world.
But it's like, it's interesting. I'm like, well, it's an interesting opportunity. I haven't figured out, I've experimented with it, but
you have to either go all in or you have to be pure indie. Make pinball games, awesome pinball games.
Right. I mean, but I do, you can't survive off that. There's a lot of other stuff I do too.
Enough,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, I think being pure indie is actually a way to go bankrupt. You have to basically kind of.
I know so many pure indies who are like on the razor's edge. For
it's not
year
a good.
after
It's
year
a
after
terrible
year.
idea.
Yeah. But I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, I've done other stuff, like I've applied, and you have as well, applied your video game development talents to verticals outside of games. Because now you can. Like, I worked at a healthcare VR app. It was essentially a game, and it was all game development, but it was FDA approved. Physical therapy.
Yeah.
So there's things you can do outside of games. But maybe people such as ourselves, or I don't know about you, but it's like I love making games, but I like also being in business. So it's kind of like I'll make games when the opportunity presents itself. That I need a game for that opportunity. I'm not like, I don't have like a game I really want to make. I'm trying to get it made. It's like, this platform has a slot. I got an idea. Let's make a game for it.
I first of all, I need a vacation for about 12 months.
Okay.
Second of all, I love being games adjacent now with the new company because in my spare time, I think about games, and it's kind of like no pressure. I don't have to do it. I don't have to pitch it. I don't have to think about it. When I want to work on it, I work on it. I know it's eventually going to be a game, but there's no pressure.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing for me is just like figuring out when and how a game is fun, and then trying to build the technical part of it's easy.
Yeah.
Hit the button thing.
Well, you're
happens.
a tech guy, right?
Sure, but more of a means to an end. Like, I like to make games. That's why I learned how to code and went to UMass. But it was like,
I didn't know you spent so much time. It's crazy. There's so many folks from the Boston area who have spent a decade in the Boston area, or you grew up in the Boston area. That it's like I left, right? I mean, we just
they were making games in Los Angeles and in Dallas. I had to go there.
Yeah.
There was 3 companies, and none of
Yeah.
them would hire me.
Yeah.
I interviewed at several of them. I went all the way to Northampton to interview at Cyberlore. Remember those guys? What happened to those guys?
Well, it's safe to say that 90% of all game dev I call Boston the mythological phoenix of game development. Every time, like every 12 years, we grow big and then we explode in fire and then we go to ashes and reform. So Infocom, Looking Glass,
Yep.
you know, Harmonix and Company, or Irrational, I guess is a good thing. And then and then now, what's happening now, right? So this is the next,
What is happening now?
Well, I mean, like Proletariat was,
Yeah.
it was several years ago, acquired by, you know, Activision Blizzard. We got a bunch of studios that are sort of hanging on. Maybe it'll stick this time.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's just like, I feel like now the distributed teams and I hadn't moved to LA because there was no such thing in the 90s. They were just making games there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I had to move to Dallas because that's where they're making games.
But Dallas is kind of nice. I mean, there's good stuff going on.
I mean, I haven't been back since 1999.
You can't see his expression. It said it all.
Yeah, I haven't been back
Austin,
to Dallas.
then.
Yeah, I mean, Austin, I think Mark Maron called it the hipster Alamo.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not like, I'm just saying.
Look, I'm not moving there. I'm Boston.
Not, yeah, I don't, it's, you know what, I lived in Dallas before Yelp. So maybe I'd have a better time because I didn't know where anything was.
I mean, Dallas is a little.
Dallas
you
is
know,
just basically
serious.
companies that are there to save money on taxes. It's just a
Right.
bunch of corporate
Yeah.
headquarters.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
Austin had a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah,
but
right. What's a good part?
you know, whatever. But bottom line is, you had to move to where the action was.
Yes. That's Boston.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, now the action's kind of everywhere.